John Hans sat behind his table trying to figure out his next line of action when Charles called to have a meeting with him. He had been very careful what goes to his table since he took over the office. Charles had always been competent and does his work without the need of supervision, so when he called for a meeting he knew that he was beginning to have questions that his years in the office could not give him answer for. "You can come, but I can only give you a few minutes. Have so much to attend to," he said and replaced the cradle. Charles knocked on his door and walked into his table. John looked at his expression for any possible clue to his quest. "Sit down," pointing to the chair opposite. "Thank you, sir," Charles said and took his seat. "What can I do for you?" he said, sitting up on his chair. "I am sorry to bother you, but I need clarification on certain things that I stumble over in the mail that seems to be against our work ethics," he said, searching John's eye for an answer. John knew he had to work fast, now that Charles is coming up with questions. He had earlier requested Tom to deviate all sensitive mails to his computer from Charles' official emails until further notice, which he assured him it was already done. He also made sure the computer was cleared of any message that Mike might have left behind on his computer before he took his life. "What is that mail about?" he questioned, trying to keep his face expressionless. "It came in this morning from the Office of Secretary General with list of countries that should be put on notice because they refused to embrace democracy, and for such, sanctions should be imposed on them with little or no aids opportunity," he said, looking at his boss for any sign of surprise, but continued when there was none. "Are we not supposed to respect every country's sovereignty?" "Yeah, look, Charles. I know there are things we will need to iron out before you really settle into that office, but there was no time, especially after the sudden death of Mike Rowland. I will appreciate if you will forward the mail in question to me so that we can better discuss it at the appropriate time," he said, standing up to avoid further questions. "I will be in a meeting shortly," he added, looking at his wristwatch as he picked up his sweet jacket from the hanger. "Okay, sir. Let me know when you think it's appropriate," he said, standing to his feet too. Charles noticed his boss was uneasy and had problem looking at him. Immediately he asked the question. Could there be something going on he was not aware of? He thought as he stepped out of his office. The past few days have been very interesting in the office. Apart from Maggie assisting him to clear his table, she had also been bringing homemade cookies for him to eat. She really made life easy for him because he hardly can spare time to eat. Maggie had become so friendly that she sometimes makes some side jokes which he usually smiles at and contribute his to. Their lines of discussion had equally progressed from normal office matters to personal issues like her divorce, marriage, the pain of loneliness, and so on. He was so carried away in one of the days that she came without a car, saying she had a puncture. He had to drop her at home and was equally tempted to enter and have a coffee. He felt like a man driving downhill in a car that has lost its brake. When he was leaving, she complained of the loneliness that she was going to experience after he had gone. She painted such a gloomy picture of her life that he felt like stepping in to help her. She told him of her alcohol recovery and how the situation is pushing her that way. When he left her house that night, he wished there was not Becky in his life to worry about. He was ready to cast all restraint to have her in his embrace. He wanted to take it easy, but everything within him cried for more of Maggie. Back home, Becky was in the seating room with a Bible on her laps. A sight he never saw before but felt she was just making it up to attract his attention. She also greeted him and asked if she should warm his food because it had gone cold. He told her he was not hungry but rather took a shower and went straight to bed. "Do you mind if we talk?" Becky asked as she came to the bed with him. "I am tired. Can't we do it tomorrow?" he said as he turned to the other side of the bed. "Okay, good night then," she said as she put off the light. Charles wondered if his wife was really turning to God because she was so calm, unlike her usual self, but he was not ready to look her way. "No, not now," he said almost aloud, and slept.